Welcome to another episode of Seen and Heard, the entertainment interview podcast where I sit down with actors, directors, filmmakers, writers, and other creative people to hear the stories behind the work. I am your host, Jim Hagan, and today I am joined by Tim Hale. Tim has done just about everything. Tim has built a career that's equal parts talent, creativity, and complete chaos. If you enjoy conversations with the people who make entertainment happen, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share the show with a friend. Now let's jump into my conversation with Tim Hale. Tim Hale, thank you for doing this. Fantastic. So glad to have you on here. You are one of my favorite people that I've worked with. And that's not me just blowing smoke. I genuinely enjoy having you around and working with you. It is so much fun. But saying that, first question I ask everyone, how do we know each other?
Well, hey, Jim, let me return the love your way, my man. It's crazy. We've known each other here for honestly like it was like 2021 or something like that. We started, or pre-COVID.
I should have looked it up. I don't remember. I think it was post-COVID because I don't remember missing any years or any
Oh,
time.
you're right. Yeah, because I was living with Lewis when we met. So shout out Lewis Schneider.
Yes,
But yeah. So
yes,
anyways, point is, Jim, time is not. It's all about density. And the density of our love and our friendship is quite good. We spent a lot of hours together down on the farm, down at Mapleside Farms, calling pig races, performing in The Princess and the Pumpkin with your fellow guest, Martin Carlton.
Right.
Yeah. So I love you too, dude. Though you're so funny and a great person. So I'm stoked to be here. Congratulations. And I love the title, Seen and Heard. Very cheeky. Big night.
Oh my gosh, love having Tim around. Yeah, so we were 2 of 3 pig race announcers for a farm in the fall. It was so much. I initially I didn't want to do it because you guys told me that it was like improv and just be funny, and I'm like, oh, listen, if it's not scripted, I don't know what to say. But it turns out it's one of the coolest things I've ever done, and I had so much fun.
Yeah, and of course you could do it because you're very talented. But yeah, once we got you out there, you were a monster. Like, especially watching you ham it up. And well, honestly, it was great because our dynamic is great too. Because obviously, I was like super ham, and you were like straight ham. And so back to back, it just
Right.
We had many epic adventures. Audience members coming up on stage. It got crazy. But yeah,
Yeah, it was a lot of good time.
Still doing it. We are year number
10,
Jim. Year number 10 at Mapleside Farms. That's right. We're here at MSPN, the home of Barnyard Sports.
How many announcers do you have now?
We got a team of like 6 or so strong this year.
Oh wow, that's a lot. Which is good because they're 2-person rotations and
because people. Okay. I love being there all day, but it's nice when you don't have to be, or other people don't want to be there all day. So it works out. Right. It creates more opportunity. That's the biggest thing, dude. It's all about creating opportunity. I've been getting interns from the Ohio Media School, so that's cool. I've been getting interns from them for the past couple of years. It's paid. I pay them. They're normal employees, but for them on their records, it counts as an internship. So that's cool too. They're getting their hours. They're getting everything in, and they brought a lot of great things to the team. Shout out, man, who we had? Grace Schill, my first. She was fantastic. Rakita Costin. Who else did we get there? Eric Williams. So yeah, that's great.
Oh, I know Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So besides pig racing, I ask you, I always send out a whatever. What do you do? How do you describe yourself? And you put all of the above. What's so if you're at a party and somebody asks you what you do, what do you tell them?
I'm a spiritualist. I'm a spiritual hedonist. I'm a lover of life, a proponent of good, and a filmmaker. And all that goes with it. So acting is, that's my bread and butter. That's been my first passion. That's what I've always been doing ever since I was a wee lad, even if it was, just in my own house or my backyard before, I made it to drama club in high school. And then went to college for hospitality management for a couple of years. And then my buddy Joe Yost, shout out Joe Yost, who's now living in Atlanta, doing props and all their kinds of fun things. He said, "Hey, Tim Hale, I'm going from engineering to film, and I know that's what you want to do too." I was like, "Yeah." So started taking acting classes at the Riga County Community College. Got in with all the Cleveland independent scene. Shout out Ray and Christina and everybody they spawned me to. And one thing leads to the other. And here we are. So, anyways, though, acting is my main jammy, but I do have a production company as well because I do produce, write, direct with Hale's Tales Productions. So you can find Hale's Tales Productions
Hale's
on
Tales. Okay.
Instagram and Facebook and all that jazz. So yeah, I like to do it all, and just being a general entertainer as well. That's kind of I like to say artist and entertainer. Like if you had to make it short, because what about like the good old Fred Astaire days or whatever? They were everything, right? They sang, they danced, they acted. Now I can't say that I don't know. I'm really
Right,
killer at
right.
karaoke for sure, and I love to dance, but I'm not professional out of those areas. But the point is, I can ham it up and have a good time wherever I am, and sometimes I get paid for it.
Having Tim on is amazing. So you say that acting. What was it about acting that grabbed you as little Tim, as a child in because for me, I'm not even kidding. It was stand-up comedy. My father used to watch a lot of stand-up comedy, and so I'm a 8-9-year-old kid watching back when HBO was the big thing. This is the '80s. Stand-up comedy. All the good stand-ups were on HBO, and I'm sitting there just like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. I've
Wow.
never done stand-up comedy, and I probably never will. But it was the performing. That is the part that caught me. Like, oh, this guy's on stage, and all those people are paying attention to him. That's cool. So that's what grabbed me. What happened with you?
Well, I want to say on that first off is you should do it. I've done it. I want to do more. But you should. It's a blast. You are hilarious. You can put thoughts together. You're a good writer, and you're good off the cuff. Give it a whirl. You literally have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And that's my message for all y'all folks out there as well.
You are too kind.
Whatever your feel is. No, it's real talk though. Real. I mean, you and I, we've performed a lot together over the years, like literally like months at a time with the pig races. And then, plus we got to do You Better Watch Out, our Christmas slasher. That was really cool. Whoa.
We did a movie together as well. Yeah, that's out somewhere.
Yeah, I can't remember at the moment, unfortunately. I'll give that a goog. Jamie, you want to give that a goog?
I'll have to look it up, and if I can find it,
But
I'll look it up, and if I can find it, I'll link it.
Yay! So that was cool. Shout out David, Rachel, Roger, Alan, Debbie, Ron, so many people. Anyways, I was turning shout out fest, podcasting a shout out fest. That was what's happening. But generally, we give people the cards. Anyways, little Tim Hale has always been a ham. My mom will tell you that. She'd say, "Oh, well, you've always been a ham." But what got me right, some of my first movies were obviously, you saw kid stuff or whatever, but what really had me is when I started seeing like the old Universal monsters, Dracula and Frankenstein. And I saw Young Frankenstein. I saw those at a very young age. And even I remember, so I loved watching what they were doing. I loved impersonating it, right? And then also in my early horror experiences being old, this was formative. Dad holding me, and then he shows me the cover of a movie, and in retrospect, I now know the cover of that movie was Leprechaun 2. And he's like, "Hey, bud, you want to watch a movie about bad guys?" And I'm like, "Yeah!" And the next thing you know, I don't remember, and then I remember my mom holding me, and I'm crying, and she's like, "What the fuck, John? Why'd you let him watch that? What the fuck?" So horror's been in my blood for a long time. But yeah, and I don't know, I guess right, you can get all psychologial with it and be like, hey, once people figure out they're able to make others laugh and entertain them, that they enjoy it, or you could say, oh, we always want validation or things. And I don't necessarily want validation, but I'm sure that's baked into some performer at every level. But overall, I just like creating. I just like doing things. And for acting, it's cool because you have to be, well, you can be so many things, and you're like a real student of life because you're stepping into so many different pairs of shoes and making movies. I just love movies so much. Honestly,
I noticed that myself. I'll just because I've done theater and film, I can watch a guy who's at a pizza place or whatever, and I notice that he's eating his pizza differently than somebody else. And just those little things, and then not that I take it and it's a 1-to-1 back to whatever film I'm going to do next or whatever, but it's nice to see human human, the way we do things, how we hold ourselves when we're standing still versus what we do while we're walking by ourselves. It's interesting. That's a tangent that I probably didn't need to go on.
No, you did, because listen, we're on Seen and Heard, okay? So we're here to talk about the craft, ultimately. So, um, I mean, that's very valid.
So horror. What is it about horror that keeps you coming back?
Hmm. I mean, I don't know. You know what's interesting is I consider myself a very positivity, a very positive
Yeah,
light worker type person, but I love dark imagery. And maybe it's because of those early exposures, but I just
sure.
love dark imagery. And but I love, obviously, though, I love comedy too, and that's why, like, horror comedy is my favorite genre. You know, it's so great. And plus a lot of my roles, if you look at my
Well,
resume, there's so much comedy in there. And it's nice. It's nice to be able to make people laugh. It's just nice.
what's harder to sell? Genuine fear or genuine comedy? Like when you're as an actor and as a producer or director,
Mhm.
like what's harder to come across on the screen?
Ooh, well, okay. Well, obviously, genuine horror, right? Because how do you inspire fear? How do you tap in? How do you give people the heebie-jeebies? Because, because it's real. And it's hard to to really conjure and soak people into a universe in that way, and make sure your imagery is coming across, and all that, your theme. Because I don't know, for me, I just have comedic instincts, so it's always very easy to, I feel like, reach for the joke, but reaching for the scare. And, like, so many things go into crafting a scare in a movie. It's your music, it's your lighting, it's your pacing, and so many, and it's the pacing in your writing, the pacing in your acting, and the pacing in your editing, honestly, to create those moments. Um,
Sure.
but, uh but I've seen it happen a lot on, a lot of the movies that I love. And, thankfully did win, creepiest film at 21 Days of Horror Festival, for my film Thin Blood Line. So, um, and you know what? Even though that's not like a first place, I say winning creepiest film at a horror festival, that's basically like a third place or a first place. I don't know why I said third. That's basically a first place.
Sure.
Not that it has to be, but
Does the award matter?
oh, no, not at all. You gotta make what you want first. Oh, for sure. Because I don't think about stuff like that. Like, honestly, I was curious. I had mentioned this to you, in talking over text yesterday. One of your questions was like, "Hey, any awards you wanna shout out?" And I was like, it actually made me go back and comb through things, because 'cause I'm not like somebody that has, like, a dedicated, trophy wall. Like, I've just got stuff scattered around. And it was kind of interesting. You even made me go to my IMDb and look at stuff. I'm like, "Wow," like, it's pretty cool, like, when you look in retrospect. But I mean, it makes sense, because that's the universe giving you affirmation that you're doing the right thing in a given area, you know?
Yeah, right. I agree. Not for nothing, I do have a wall of my awards. I do win. I do enjoy getting it, and I will post about it. But then that's about it. Unless you're in my apartment, then you're going to see that they're on the wall. But I'm not going to talk about it. A day or two or a week later. It happened. It's done. Now we move on to the next thing. But I do. I like to look at my wall. I like to look at the things that I've done and accomplished. It's nice. It makes me think that I've done something. It feels good.
And you have, and that's brilliant, because honestly, and that's really what your kinda question taught me, and made me think of. It was like, "Yeah, Tim Hale, you do need to take more stock in, like, what you've done, and celebrate those things, and keep mention of it." Like, Henry
Yeah.
Rollins, one of my biggest influences, he, um he
Hmm.
has a Word document that he says he keeps. And in that Word document, he literally has documented everything he's ever done, every show he's ever played, every acting role he's ever had, any book he's written, any concert tour date. I've seen his spoken word, which is a really great tour. He has all that written down somewhere. I'm like, wow, that does seem like a really good idea of something to keep track of, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun. Then you can look back and when you're older and you can't do this anymore, or not that you can't do that because you can do this forever. Entertaining is not it's not limited to age. I don't know what I'm talking about. But it is good to look back and remember that 30 years I was in this, you know, cruddy little little play that nobody came and saw, but that was so much fun. Remember when that actor said that one thing? Oh, that was a good time. It's good to remember those sorts of things.
Because experiences, they live on in our mind, of course, but it's nice to have better stock of it. And by the way, too, let me clarify. When I said one of those people, I just meant I need a wall of trophies because my dad's got tons. But not that it means anything, or I'm saying not that it doesn't mean I'm trying to trip over my words. But what I'm trying to get to is I do have a trophy wall. Right there,
Okay.
baby. That's to talk about. Want to say it, I'm so proud of this. Okay, this is one of the promo posters we had made for Cracula, and I got it blown up for the Cleveland premiere. And Chad has the other. He has the official poster blown up, but I've got this one, and it's like, what a triumph! Because told you what, I was a horror kid, monster kid. Want to be an actor since forever. And that's the other thing. To really go back to your question, Jim, I just have always wanted to do this. It just felt like the most natural thing, I've always wanted to be Dracula, and then finally getting the opportunity. Shout out Brad Twigg and Fuzzy Monkey Films. Like, to be able to look at this poster every day and be like, wow, like we made Cracula. And there's other cool reminders scattered around here. I got my best villain trophy over here. That's right, folks. I won best villain for playing Dracula in Cracula at Screamiverse Horror Expo in Roanoke, Virginia. Shout Screamiverse. So,
see, that's cool. That's fun.
Or like this. Here's a trophy. So shout out my best friend Ron George. He had a Cracula Funko Pop made.
You can do that?
Yeah, you can just go to their website. And I've seen people on Etsy too that you can get them from. I think it's their website.
Oh, wow.
This looks pretty official. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Called Pop Yourself. But,
well, now I want one for every role I've ever been in. No, I'm just kidding.
You should. How cool of a room would that be?
That would be creepy. You kidding me? You come over, I invite you over for, just have some drinks and to watch a soccer match or whatever. And there's just a wall of toy gyms.
Hey, as long as you send me home with one, we're square.
You can't have it. So you mentioned Cracula, and you've been in a movie called Crackoon. What is it with the word crack in front of all these movies?
Well, friend, the highest form of humor, puns. Well, those aren't really puns, but they're close. And what it really came down to is, Brad, when he made Crackoon, that was in response to the film Cocaine Bear, right? So Cocaine Bear came out. The joke of Crackoon was right there. He was the first one to hop on Stab. We made the movie. Crackoon was a huge success. Still, you can find out on like Amazon, Screenbox, a bunch of places. Just look up Crackoon. But then same sure. While you're making that movie, you're just obviously you're on set, you're joking around, and then somebody says Cracula, and then we're like, huh? And then next thing you know, he's hitting me up to write the script, and we're off to the races. Though it was interesting is, he hit me up to write it. He was already going to make it, hit me up to write it, and he already had a Dracula in mind. Rest in peace, Solon Salengras. Rest in peace, love you, passed away. He didn't not do the role because he passed away. Unfortunately, he passed away anyways. Love him. But he wasn't able to take the role at the time. So Brad asked me, it's like, Tim, would you like to be Dracula? And I was like, oh my God, Brady! It was incredible. So, and honestly though, I'm kind of grateful it worked out that way because I don't think I would have written a different movie, but you almost got to wonder what kind, like if that would have changed the writing at all if I knew that I was going to be Dracula. You know what I mean?
I see. So you wrote it, but you didn't think you were writing it for yourself, or you weren't writing it for yourself.
Nope.
And then it was just later on that you were asked to actually play the. Gotcha. That's pretty cool.
Synchronicities are crazy. So,
do you think he just offered it to you so you wouldn't feel bad?
No, not at all, Brady. We have a great relationship ever since working together on Killer Campout Part 2, which you can also find out there on all the streamers. And don't worry, folks, you don't have to have seen Killer Campout Part 1. You get the gist of it. Undead Killer, great. carry on, let the slashing commence. So I love Killer Camp Out Part 2. But we have a great relationship, Brad and I, and I was really grateful that he saw me fit for the role. But and then yeah, when you get like awards like this for the role you've always wanted to play, it really is like wow. And that
Yeah.
I have heard people say that like what you're supposed to do in life is what you were like most drawn to as a kid. And I gotta say, the proof is in the pudding. Because anytime I've gone towards making monster movies, it's only brought me good things. So, folks, whatever you feel you're
You can't argue with that. Yeah.
mhm. And look, same with you, Jim.
Uh,
You felt the call since an early age to be an entertainer, and look, as
oh,
you've gone into
yeah,
that,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
only brought
yeah.
you good things.
Yeah, I went into it really late though. I did now as a as a kid, as a elementary school kid, first, second, third grade, I was the kid that didn't shut up. I would always talking like for show and tell. I was the one that asked the other kids to do a skit. Like it was ridiculous. I always wanted to be performing, but then that kind of went away in middle school and high school. I did some stage stuff in high school, but I really didn't get back into performing until I was a full grown adult, like
Mm,
way later in life.
mm.
Yeah, I'm glad I got back to it, but I took a lot of time off to live life and do what had to be done, you know. So when you direct, write or produce or whatever, does that make you a better actor? Like are you looking at those things? Are you writing for the actors or are you just writing the best script you can write?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's all because like, writing is something that, like, I like as much, if not more than acting sometimes, like, because creative writing has always been something
Okay.
I've, been into since, like, ever, so and it's really great crafting a story. But, I mean, honestly, I love writing, acting, and as excruciating as it and I like directing, but and excruciating as it is, editing too. Because editing, while being excruciating, is the most gratifying part of the process because that's where the movie is truly made. You know, you can write a movie, you can make a movie, like shoot a movie, but you haven't made a movie until you have like pieced it together and put the score in and everything. So, but yeah, absolutely. The more
Right.
well-rounded you could be, the more toes you have in the water of creativity, the better you are. And I think that even cross pollinates to, music, painting, photography, dance, whatever. It all feeds in. I
Anything
think in
really.
general, being well-rounded is good.
I started writing just a couple years ago and I just finished my second stage play.
Mm.
I gotta tighten it up and whatever. I'm going to submit it to a festival but so I have until November. But writing has changed the way I look at the way a story is told.
Mhm,
Um, just because I have an idea of what I want the character to do in the beginning and the end, like it's all that middle stuff.
mhm.
Like how am I supposed to get from A to B while still making it interesting for people? And I'm not saying I'm a good writer. I'm not saying that at all. But it has opened my eyes to the whole spectrum of the performance, not just the acting, which is what I've been focused on for years.
And, you better talk yourself up the ladder there, buddy, because one of your screenplays, at least one, has won at what was it, the Indie Gathering, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I won a. This was a couple of years ago. It was a microfilm, couple of pages. And hey, Tim, we need to talk because I would love to get that script in front of a camera because it's just a script. It has never been produced, and that is something I would love to make. And
Yes.
it's not horror necessarily, but there is a fight. There is a fight scene and there is a stabbing, and I think you're the perfect guy for it. But anyway,
Dude, bro, I'd love to. Let's go. I'll come down your way. I got my camera. Let's go.
we would need to rent a cabin, Airbnb cabin or something because that's
Sweet.
kind
Let's
of where
just
it's
make sure
set.
it's one with a hot
Unless you know
tub.
somebody who owns a cabin.
Yeah.
Mentioned to me that you did a that you did a documentary.
Mhm.
I didn't know you did a documentary.
I did. And actually,
That's insane. No, it's good. It's just I've known you for however many years we've known each other, and horror and comedy, of course, but I never would have pegged you as a documentarian.
yes, I did do the documentary. I was just speaking with my collaborator in that endeavor, Mike Bruckman. I was just speaking with him on the phone today. Shout out Mike Bruckman. Yeah, so we made Whisper to Be Heard, the story of Music Week and the Whisper Ball. And what that was all about is Mike Bruckman. He's a fantastic musician and world traveler, and he lives in a very beautiful estate here in the greater Cleveland area, and a bona fide mansion, I dare say, complete with a lake house and all that jazz. And he brought in his friends from all across the US to hang out for a week, spend the night, and they spent the time, like the whole week, to spend as long, as many days there. And they wrote, all this original new music. And then the end of the week, that Saturday, he had the Whisper Ball, which was a masquerade ball, even complete with like a silent mannequin moment, if you're familiar with that challenge. And everybody played the new
Oh, yeah.
songs as well as some covers there for the Whisper Ball. And then they went to the studio afterwards and recorded the songs. You can actually find them on Spotify under the Whisper Project. The Whisper Project. Very proud though of what everybody put together.
Okay.
Shout out Anastasia, David. Oh man, so many people. Oh goodness. Anyways, yeah, so the documentary though, was so great though. So I was just flung into that journey. I had literally just gotten my camera within the past couple of months. And shout out Scott Brocious, Padre. He hooked me up with Bruckman and said, "Hey, Bruckman wants me to shoot this documentary of this event for him, but I'm unable to do it. I don't have the time commitment, but you're young, hungry, excitable. Go for it." I was like, "Yeah, yeah." So I literally, dude, for that week, I took off days of work when I could, or I would just go before and after work, spend the night, go right from there to work. We'd be up all hours of the night. They're jamming. I'm filming, catching it all on my camera. Um, it was just, and then the Whisper Ball, and then going into the studio. It was just such a wonderful whirlwind of experience. Like, it was so like bohemian, to just like, yeah, we're locking ourselves in for a week. We're making music, and to just be the and to witness such talent in such an intimate setting, like literally one of my favorite things I've ever shot. Looking at it and, well, having looked at it in the moment, was David Bain playing piano, because he was just whizzing, and like just what oh just there's something to be said about when you're getting a shot, it's complete presence, because that is all that exists in the moment, is like what you're getting within that box. And that's all that matters. And it
Yeah.
really draws you in, and is very special.
Shooting a documentary is different than shooting a feature or a short or whatever, because there's no second takes. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to change the way you did things? Obviously you did.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, for sure. And it was man, oh man, like I said, I was so new to editing and shooting at that point. Like, well, I mean, I had edited in high school. I had the basics down, but it was my first time getting like back into a hardcore. And that was, like I said, I just gotten my camera, within the couple months before that event occurred. And yeah, I'll tell you what, audio, I definitely would have had a better audio situation. Now, granted, luckily I had my roadie rooftop mount, the camera mounted mic worked really well, worked wonders. But ideally, would have had that. Would have had a monitor. I wish I had a monitor that was not on the camera, that was bigger, because there was definitely more stuff out of focus than I would have liked. Because the place had really cool but darker lighting. I would have had an extra light on hand, so I learned a lot. I learned a lot on that project. But a lot of, granted, the amount of hours that I got of footage that was still good, incredible, like tons.
Then the next one will be better.
Exactly, exactly. And I'll tell you what, though, this didn't turn out too shabby. We got nominated at festivals like all over the world, all for like either best feature or best documentary. And we did win at the New York City Film Festival 2020, COVID. We did win best feature documentary. So it was like,
Nice.
like, and that's one, dude, too, where I was just, again, I've done, like you said, Jim, you're always working on stuff. So you're just kind of, you keep moving and you forget your laurels and everything. And plus, what they say, you don't want to stand on your laurels. But that is one, when reflecting on it, it's like, I'm really patting myself on the back for it, because a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into that. that was 7+ days of shooting. And I'll tell you, a lot more days than that editing. That was a heck of an editing experiment.
Oh yeah.
Like, because the thing is like you said, the difference when you write and shoot, you have the story ready to go. You know what you're getting. You have an idea of what you're assembling. Going into this, Bruckman had ideas of what the story is and was going to be and characters to focus on. And honestly, that ended up a bit different. And so in documentary, you definitely have to sort through all the footage because you definitely don't remember everything you captured in the week, and you're finding the story in the aftermath. You're kind of finding out who your stars are, and you're finding out like themes that occur or something that happens repeatedly throughout the week. And you're like, all right, well, I'm putting all this footage in a folder because it all fits, with this. And like in retrospect, what I would do now if I was shooting a documentary again, I would dump my footage every day and I would label that footage day one, this, day one, that, day two.
Yeah.
Man, this time I just like had this big pot of hundreds of hours of footage. And yeah, but it all worked out. It certainly worked out. And I'll tell you, it made me a hell of an editor. That project made me such a better editor because, like I said, I spent countless hours working on it. And it's like, all right, well, cool. That's made all of my editing and all my subsequent projects, so much better and easier to do. So that works out. And made me a
Cool.
better shooter too.
Good. Right now, we're gonna take an ad break. The big podcasts, they have sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
I do not, so I make them up. So I'm gonna have you look in the chat, and I'm gonna have you read an ad, cold read, and this is gonna go back to our days on the farm.
Okay.
So when you get a chance, go ahead and best announcer voice.
All right, no problem there. So I'm just, there we go. All right. And today's episode is brought to you by Pork Position Racing Wear. Custom racing helmets, tiny goggles, and aerodynamic capes for the swine athlete who refuses to settle for average. Pork Position Racing Wear, because looking fast is half the battle.
There you go. What a great ad. Remember some of those races where the pigs wouldn't run at all?
Yeah, for sure. Like either if they just had a day or if they weren't feeling it or if it was cold and like, yeah, they're like, what? That definitely, man, remember the one year that was pretty cool? We got the alpaca to race the pig, and that was incredible. And the one guy was like, boo. Or at one point the alpaca ran by itself too. It was a little baby alpaca. And the guy was like, boo. It was like, dude, how are you not excited that you saw an alpaca at a pig race? That's a special treat.
You know what? If that alpaca didn't run, there wouldn't have been a race. I believe, if I remember correctly, all the pigs were sick. They weren't doing so well that day.
Yeah, little piggies in a cold. That'll happen. We had a really great year of weather there last year. By golly, almost every weekend was incredible. And I'm calling a few favors, and that's what's going to be this year.
You had mentioned in the thing that I have you fill out that you have some fun stories. I want you to pick out a fun story, and I want you to tell me that fun story.
Ooh, there's a few.
All right, tell me the Casey Kasem story.
So when I say I'm an all-around entertainer, happened to meet some swell folks down at the Candlewood Lake community down near Columbus, Mount Gilead area, Ohio. Gay, she's amazing. I ended up meeting her down there with some folks, and because I was in town visiting a friend's mom, and I ended up talking a little like Casey Kasem. That's right, we're here on the countdown. And you can see I was even kind of channeling that in my radio voice, just now, announcer guy. But I was doing a Casey Kasem impression, and Gay was like, oh my God, I love this. She's like, we're having a 50th celebration of a 50-year celebration of when Lake Candlewood was filled. And she's like, we're doing a whole thing for it. Would you come do like a radio Casey Kasem countdown for us? And I was like, oh my God, so cool. I'm in. What a great gig. And she's like, and we'll pay you. I was like, even better. So I think this is a 50-year celebration, and I don't know why. And like, I just assumed the demographic of like the people I had seen around there, but for some reason, I just made a playlist of. Oh, by the way, I was going to be outside with no Wi-Fi access, so my Spotify was going to be limited to whatever I downloaded to this here laptop I'm speaking to you now on Spotify wise. And so whatever, I
Sure.
totally misjudged the music because I get there, I'm playing stuff, people are coming up doing requests, which also I did not anticipate. And I did not download enough music. This was supposed to be a 2-hour gig with a break in the middle. So that's why I downloaded. It was like 2 hours flushing music. I was like, oh no, that's a mistake. You need way more hours of music, especially if, more stuff than you anticipated.
Yeah.
So people are coming up, they're starting to request things. And I'm getting like Pink Floyd. I'm getting Led Zeppelin. I'm getting all this stuff. I had like easy listening and like funky and I went literally, it was 50-year celebration, which so at that time would have been 1974. And I thought I was doing Casey Kasem theme. I was like, oh no. And so I'm pretending to look for songs on my laptop that don't exist because I know I have no Wi-Fi for the Spotify. So people are like, all right, you got Led Zeppelin, Black Quarter. I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm like looking like I'm queuing it up and I'm eating it. Literally everybody has left their community home here on this Saturday night to come see this show. My jokes are bombing. The songs are
Yeah.
not hitting. And this is a half an hour in. I'm a half an hour into a 2-hour gig bombing. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm sweating so hot. Like it's a summer night and you're just feeling embarrassed. And I'm just like, what am I going to do? And then all of a sudden something comes on that's like dancey. It's like the, like get down, like that comes on and something in me says, just start dancing. And so that's what I do. I fling myself to, the front of the stage in front of my equipment. Well, it wasn't a stage. I was outside. Fling myself to the front of the pavilion and I just start dancing. And then next thing you know, that's all I'm doing. Every song that's playing, I'm just dancing or I'm air guitar and I'm doing something. I'm getting in people's faces, like shredding in their faces or dancing. And bro, totally changed the event. All of a sudden, other people are getting up to dance. I'm pulling up ladies to dance. People are throwing singles and 5s and 20s in my shirt. I was like, oh! People are in their golf carts parked along and they're like honking at me as I'm dancing by. Like I work my way around the whole crowd. Even songs that played before and were bombing are now winning because I'm like doing stuff to those songs, whether it's dancing or air guitar or whatever. I'm giving it all out there, Jim. I'm soaking wet. And I even hear somebody as I'm like shredding. They're going like, wow, he's actually playing that air guitar. I was like, in my head, so meta. Like, are you kidding me? Like people, like I'm so, obviously if you could be an entertainer, you can make anything entertaining. But it was just so meta to be like, wow, people are out here that wrote real songs and really shredded and really got paid for it. And I'm over here doing the air version and somehow it's of equal entertainment value in this moment. Like it's just so strange. But yeah, so the gig wrapped up. I even went overtime because I felt I owed it to them having bombed for a half an hour first. And it was so great. Like I said, I got tipped out like crazy and people were like, oh my God, will you come back? And you're the best person they've ever brought here. And I'm like, with no instruments, with no huge playlist, with nothing like hardly prepared. I even abandoned the Casey Kasem thing way early on. It just turned into this own gig, its own show. So blessed, honestly, just so blessed, really, Jim, at the end of the day that you and any of my co-conspirators in these artistic endeavors or anybody that's ever enjoyed anything I've ever done, I'm just so grateful that people condone my buffoonery. I'm very blessed for that. I'm so grateful. So yeah,
Tim, I appreciate you coming on here. That's that is definitely a Tim story because I couldn't have done what you did. That is for certain. Tim, thank you. Thank you for being on here. I really do appreciate it. If anybody wanted to reach out and find you, how could they do that?
Carrier pigeon. I live in a cabin up in North Dakota now. And no, it's cool. I'll do that one day. But for the meantime, you can find me on Instagram at Timmy Tells Tales. That's right, Timmy Tells Tales, and also Hale's Tales Productions. Hale's Tales Productions, Timmy Tells Tales. Little brand synchronicity there. But yeah, those are the best way to find me, because Instagram is kind of like my favorite platform if I had to pick one. So find me there, and you can find Hale's Tales Productions on YouTube. So check that out. You can find anything that I put out there as well. Yeah, folks, and please head to the streamers. Look up Killer Camp Out Part 2, Brimstone Incorporated, Slua Awakens. That's a little Irish horror for you. Brimstone Incorporated, really cool horror anthology with a hellish twist. My segment, Mama's Boy. Yeah, just I'll leave your imagination up for that one. Killer Camp Out Part 2, which I think I already mentioned. Crackoon. Cracula's coming to a streamer near you soon. We got T-Rexorcist coming out next year. We got Crackoons coming out next year, the sequel. So, yeah, folks, a lot's going on. I suggest you check it out and check out anything this beautiful man Jim does, because he's super duper creative. And you're going to see the short that we're going to make based off of his script. So just keep your eyes peeled.
Anyway, I'm gonna link all of that stuff in the description here. Before we leave, Tim, we're gonna do a speed round. Are you ready? I got a couple questions. Okay. You ready? All right. Speed round. Here we go. Favorite horror movie?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Vampire or werewolf?
Vampire.
Vampire, yeah. Practical effects or CGI?
AI. No, obviously not. It's practical all day, baby. Give me the syrup and the blood and the guts and the rubber and the plastic and the latex and the pumps and the CO2.
Do you prefer sunrise or sunset?
Midnight. No, real talk. I see more sunsets than sunrises. But that's just because of how my life is. Honestly, the sunrise carries a really beautiful energy. Mornings have quite a beautiful energy. So I'm going to pick mornings, even though I've seen more sunsets. So I'll say sunrises.
All right. And then the last one. If you could play any character in film history, who would it be? Now, you've already mentioned Dracula. So outside of Dracula, if you could play any character in film history, who would it be?
George Bailey.
I got to say, I'm a little surprised.
I love It's a Wonderful Life.
And I actually, I got to do It's a Wonderful Life 8-9 years ago. I was way too old for the role, but that's a role I did. So I guess I got one up on you. You did Dracula. I did George Bailey.
Hey, I love that, Jim. I bet you freaking killed it. I was in It's a Wonderful Life too, but I was Mr. Martini.
Right.
But I'll be right. George Bailey one day.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate you doing this.
I appreciate you having me, Jonathan. You rock. You're the bee's knees, ankles, and toes. I love you, Gator, and I'll come hang out with you soon, and we're gonna make that film and big nice. I don't know. You should dude. You should get up here for a weekend. Do a pig race. Do 1 day's worth. Do a shift.
We'll see what happens. It could happen.
You hear that, folks?
All right, man. Tim, thank you so much for hanging out with me. This was exactly what I expected, and somehow a little bit weirder. I do appreciate you for taking the time. Now, if you would like to keep up with Tim and everything he has coming up, I'll have all of the links to his social media and current projects in the description. And please, if you enjoyed this episode, Seen and Heard is available on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Deezer, just about everywhere you can get your podcasts. Check out our socials on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as well. Now, if you know of an actor, a filmmaker, a director, a writer, a musician, another pig race announcer, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me through social media or at podcastseenandheard@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, keep supporting the people who create the stories we all love. We'll see you next time on Seen and Heard.